Welcome everybody to another episode of our comprehensive training series called SEP Knowledge Booster. For this video, I have the pleasure to hand over to you today's presenter Klaus, who will talk about the next hot topic with the SEP Sesam backup software. 3, 2, 1, launch!
Yeah, well, thank you, Katrin. In this video, we will talk about backup of the mailing system Kopano. I will show you in a couple of slides a little bit of an overview of all the functionalities of our backup agent for Kopano. And later on, my colleague Christian will give you a really cool live demonstration and presenting all the functionalities which are possible with our backup software SEP Sesam. Now, what is it all about? Kopano. You might know that from a history, the product was called Sarafa, and with SEP we also had an online agent for Sarafa as well, and then it was kind of renamed, restructured to Kopano based on kind of an app structure with Outlook extension and other parts. And this is what we support with our online agent. It's also necessary to mention that we also support Univention Corporate Server as an operating system for SEP backup server and the client, and that SEP is integrated into the Univention distribution package. Now, why is it so important? The reason is that with Univention, with its open source focus, there is also Kopano integrated, and a lot of Univention customers are using Kopano as their mailing system, and so most of our Kopano customers are also using Univention, and it's essential that we are integrated into this package. And by the way, we have already decided that we will also be part of the version 5 package of Univention, so that this successful story will continue in the future. Now, what are the benefits of SEP being used as a backup software for Kopano? We support all the Kopano editions except the community edition, of course. We use the online backup API, so that it's officially supported by the vendor. That's important. We have the full and the differential backup to save backup data and storage, and we have the possibility to do a single item restore. Also some granular backups for configuration, excluding mailboxes and so on, and my colleague Christian will show you and talk about all of this in the live demonstration later on. Our product has a very complete and very good online documentation. All our customers are really glad to have such kind of wiki technical documentation where they can find all the information about how to configure, how to do a backup and restore, what are the APIs using, what are the version requirements and so on. And if you anyway have any kind of issues, we have our high quality support directly from Germany with a lot of very competent people waiting there for your call. Regarding the market, SEP Sesam has very flexible pricing, so we have the range from the small to medium business up to enterprise level. With our broad support matrix, we are completely future-proof. The product is made in Germany, therefore it's easy with respect to compliance regulations like GDPR and others. We can really promise that we do not have any backdoors in our software. Important, especially for the Kopano, is that we have an open source focus, which means we support a lot of different Linux distributions. We have the right partnerships in place with Kopano, with Univention, with SUSE, with Red Hat and so on. And therefore, we have a lot of open source customers, satisfied customers with our backup software. And this is one example, one customer reference. Compact Cleaning. It's an Austrian company, and running their Kopano system in an Univention corporate server environment using CheckMK as a system management tools, which is integrated using our REST API to extract all the data into CheckMK, and all these kind of examples how SAP Sesam can run as a backup software in such an environment at the customer. Well, now, Christian, it's your turn for the live demonstration.
Yeah, now it's time to start the live demo. Then you have a look and feel and how we can do the backup, the different backup options, different backup level for full and differential, to schedule the backups, check the backups, and then of course we make a restore. So go to our Java GUI. Okay, that's after you install the Sesam server, this Sesam GUI will implement it in install 2, and then you can open this. And the first thing, it's very easy. The main selection here on the left side, you go from the top to the bottom, and first is to define the topology, and here you define your environment, what you want you backup. And here that's our topology, and it's built up our support matrix, and we have here our groupware products. We supported all like Exchange and here Kopano, and then you install and define at the client here. We do it here, and very important, it's here on this structure you can set up and define your authorization. And here the permissions management. Here you can define it with the Sesam database, or you can choose your LDAP or the Active Directory. And then you can give different permissions: administrator role, operator role, or restore role. And here on this, for Kopano, the properties here set the permissions. We have a backup user, a Kopano user, operator user, and a restore user. And the administrator user has the rights for all these different locations. So here you define the client, and it's accessible. And after this, we define the backups, and it's very easy too. You see here the topology again, and you find under Kopano your client, and then you have the possibility to make a new backup task. And you don't need to write a task name or select the task type here with Kopano, for example. It's a Kopano. You don't need it. You can browse directly into the client, and the client check what's possible to backup. A file system backup, or a backup of MySQL database, a Linux BSR backup, bare system recovery, it's possible. And here the Kopano. The client check which application, which file system you can backup. So then you have the possibility to check here Kopano and selected all backups, and click OK, and automatically the task type is Kopano, and source is all, and the task name will generate it automatically, and it's all. So then I will show you the other options. It's the same thing. Extend, and maybe you don't want to back up the test mailbox and the test2 mailboxes, and here you see automatically the exclude list is configured. Selected all, it's the same. Click OK. The task name is generated, source, and excluded, and you have a backup task for all mailboxes, exclude, test, and test2. So the same thing, it's if you want to create a single mailbox task, yeah, browse into the client, extend, and for example, you want to make a backup of the mailbox for user 1, click OK. Yeah, the task name is now user 1, source is user 1, and yeah, it's very easy to define all options, all backup, exclude list, single mailbox backup. That's very easy to define. So after this, of course, you want to start it, the backup automatically. Yeah, and this is it, this thing for the scheduling. We have schedules here. We have different schedules, and I defined a schedule for groupware for full backup and differential, and it's only the properties, it's only a frame. Yeah, the name, it's clear. You write a right name and set the time and the weekly, every week, every Saturday on 2 p.m. Yeah, and then after this you add the task. Yeah, here I can see here new backup event, and then you select the schedule here and give the right task for the schedule. And here you have then the possibilities here in the properties to define and set up the backup level. We have the possibility full, differential, and copy. Yeah, full and differential is clear. The next differential will point of the last full. And if you want, copy is the same thing with like the full, but it's a extra full. It's not point on the last full. If you make a full backup on Saturday and the next days you make differential, that's points on the full on Saturday. If you make a copy on Wednesday, the next differential backup on Thursday pointed not on the copy, point on the full. Yeah, that's a extra full backup. Maybe if you want make migration or archive some mailboxes or something like this, then you can use the copy, backup level copy. So then the backups are running here. We scheduled the differential here. I will show you properties, and here you see the backup level differential, and the backups will run on Saturday, on Wednesday. So you can schedule it often. It's up to you. For our demo, it's okay. We make backups on Saturday, the full backup, and the differential backup on Wednesday. So, and then we have to check the backups. We have two possibilities here to check the backups in the Java GUI. And I filter for the client and want to check the Kopano, and today was no backup. I go back some days, and you see successful backups, successful. It's a backup level here. You see here successful differential, successful full backup, and differential backup again. So you can check it here with a Java GUI, but we have a very new WebUI, and more functionalities will implement it in the WebUI, and it's more easy, more you will like it. And I will show you the WebUI, the same thing. You have a very cool start page, it's status. Here you can select backups, migration possibilities, replication, restore, and then some other things, your status of your sesam server, and then it's a monitoring, and here the backups, and here the same thing. I select the Kopano today, no, records found, go back 1 week, or we can back more weeks, it's possible too, yeah, and then you see the backup is successful. You have two recommended, we have two options in the you can check it in the Java GUI or in the new WebUI, and it's very easy. We could recommend it for monitoring, reporting, and so on. You can use the WebUI. So I will talk about this a little bit later. First, we do a restore. So I talk that we have different authorization authentication options, and here I'm logged in with the administrator. The administrator have all permissions to all the complete topology. That's the thing why the administrator can back up file system, VMware backup, Hyper-V, and so on. You see here and here restore of Kopano. And now I will log out the administrator and log in with a restore user with the permissions for only Kopano. And you see, yeah, this user have only the possibility to check to not check, can only restore the data, yeah. And if you log in the WebUI or log in the Java GUI with this user, you have only the possibility to restore. The restore user don't see any backup task, don't see any other topologies, locations, and so on, can only restore data. So then we have to delete a mail, of course. Then look in the web app from Kopano, and here you see under the send items this test mail. Yeah, I will delete here this mail, and of course I will delete this in the delete items, and we have no mails here in the Kopano web app. Go back, send items is empty and delete items is empty. So then we restore very easy this mail. So select restore Kopano mail, click next, select the client. In our case, we have only one client. Then we select the date of the backup. Yeah, I can select the differential or the full backup and click next. And here select the user and select here under the send items this mail, yeah, the test mail Kopano, and click next. Then we have some options to restore to another client or change user or change the folder. You have the different executions options. Do not restore existing folders, overwrite existing folders. We want to all in the original target. So click next, then you have a summary of your settings and start the restore. And then you have the possibility to check the restore here in time. That's running here. After the successful restore, I will show you the possibilities in the WebUI and in the Java GUI. So the restore is successful done. We check it in the Kopano web app, and here you see the mail is restored. Very easy, very cool, and yeah, the delete items is deleted. Yeah, of course, the mail is here on the original folder, and yeah, very easy for the restore. So then we have different options to check the restore, and you have the another monitoring restore. And you see here the last restore. In this time, this restore was to check for the webinar the things that are all it's okay. And yeah, you have the possibilities in the WebUI. I think you do it normally only in the WebUI, but you have some other options in the Java GUI, of course, too. Yeah, here and under job status restore, and you find the two restores: the test restore before the webinar and the restore now. So the other important thing is, if you make a backup with Sesam, you have different possibilities, not only to backup to a disk. You have the possibility to migration to a tape. You have the possibility to replicate the data to an offsite locations, or you can the migration task to migrate the data to a warm target. Yeah, write once, read many, and then you have more security regarding ransomware. That's a very good thing. That's not only typical backup, then you have more and more options to store the data on different targets and different locations, and then you have a very high security of your Kopano backup. So the same thing, of course, you can be recommended that do the restore via the WebUI, but of course you have the possibility to restore your data here, Kopano. It's the same thing. Yeah, Kopano select the task, select the date. Yeah, click next. Select the user. Here, extend the user. Sandbox. Select the mail. Click next, and then you have the possibility, the same thing. But as I told you, use the restore WebUI, and yeah, that's very easy. And then you can give some other users the possibility, if you want, to can restore his own data, and that's very easy. So I don't start the restore now again. We showed it with the WebUI. So some other options, if you want to, we have a very cool wiki page, our wiki site. I will show you again here, wiki.sep.com, software.com. And here you find the documentation too about the under documentation, groupware, Kopano, and here you find all important things, backup and restore. And yeah, you have all important things here, and then you can yeah, check if you have, and check in the support matrix which version we supported. We support the last version 8.12, and I think yeah, we have the best product for backup your Kopano. So now last few final words and things well worth to know, that with SAP it's possible to do parallel backups of several mailboxes, that the number of parallel backups of Kopano mailboxes can be limited. Example to entered as backup options. Yeah, you have the options, you have some possibilities, like here the options -a max _ exports equal 5. And as a conclusion, I hope you will agree that SAP is the best solution for all open source environments by providing online backup of mainstream as well as niche products. Now, Katrin, Are you ready for the last part?
Yes, of course. Hey, are you impressed of what you have heard until now? Then you might be interested in gaining more information about this powerful backup software. After our SEP specialist has talked a lot about a specific backup topic, during the next roundabout 4 minutes, I would like to give you a short overview of the general capabilities of SEP Sesam. I'm sure you will be impressed of what is really possible with this product. This is essentially based on 6 strategic columns. The first and most important topic is our huge support matrix. There is an agent available for almost every operating system, database, or application you can imagine. Market leaders as well as niche products, for example for mailing, Exchange or Kopano. Even a lot of older versions are supported, because all old SEP clients are still compatible and usable with the latest SEP backup server, for example NetWare or outdated Windows versions. The second strategic focus is our strong partnership with SAP. While being 2 German companies, we work together from SMB to enterprise, from Business One to S/4HANA. SAP has the most complete set of certified agents for the SAP portfolio, including NetWeaver running on Oracle or MaxDB, Linux or Windows, HANA or ASE, known as Sybase. Moreover, SAP not only supports simple HANA backup via the backend interface, but also functionalities like multi-tenancy, housekeeping, scale up, scale out, HANA Studio integration, disaster recovery, and efficient performance by parallel HANA backend channels for backup and recovery. Third, we focus on our partnership with HPE. Besides the perfect fit with our SAP partnership, this means that we step by step integrate deeper into the HPE portfolio. We just released our HPE certified Catalyst integration, including Catalyst Copy and Cloud Bank Storage. More to come soon. As a fourth element, we are proud of our multi-hypervisor support. By supporting more than 8 hypervisors, we are a perfect fit into every virtual environment beyond VMware and Hyper-V, or in every multi-hypervisor infrastructure. Based on our Unix and Linux history, we have a strong focus on open source. This becomes apparent from our partnerships with Red Hat and SUSE, but also from the support matrix, where you can find agents for open source products like KVM, MariaDB, or Postgres. Last but not least, we see the market going cloud. With our Cloud Application Protection Service products, we help you to back up your Office 365, G Suite, Salesforce, or Microsoft Dynamics environment. With Office 365, we back up the full set of features like Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, public folders, and Teams. With SEP Sesam, it is possible to run completely in AWS, replicate to a public cloud via S3, or simply use Catalyst Cloud Bank Storage and let HPE store once do the replication work. All these topics are covered in separate videos. Therefore, we can proudly state that SEP Sesam is the most powerful backup software. Well, if you are now interested in knowing more about SEP, you can find detailed information about market, sales, product and company on our webpage. Profound technical information can be found in our large wiki online documentation. If there are any questions left, please do not hesitate to contact us via email to sales@sepsoftware.com. So, I'm pretty sure that I'll see you next time when you're back on Tube to boost your SEP knowledge again.